Nations Reality Bites.
Will we know how many people tuned in, Brandy? You should probably. Should be. That's what I was going to say. It'd be nice to know how many people tuned in.
Okay, you are now live.
Okay. Good evening. On behalf of the Hanna and District Chamber of Commerce, the Business Hub and the Town of Hanna, I would like to welcome you to our virtual forum. My name is Corinne Taylor. You may know me from the TD Canada Trust branch in Hanna, or as the Secretary Treasurer of the Hanna and District Chamber of Commerce. I will be your moderator this evening. Let me take a quick moment to say thank you to John Schaaf from Reality Bites, Tammy McMillan and Sam Lockhart of the Business Hub, Brandy Burt, Lori Armstrong, and Dore Vino for making this live event possible. I would also like to thank all the volunteers who are here in the building with us tonight to bring you this live event. There are 9 candidates running for 6 council positions. A few moments ago, we assigned each candidate with a number, and it was selected randomly via a deck of cards, just 1 to 9. Each candidate will have an equal opportunity to answer the questions that were submitted by you earlier this week. You can submit a live question this evening by clicking on the link on YouTube. So without further ado, I would like to introduce our Mayor-elect, Danny Povischuk. And I have to unmute. Oh, this is. Sorry, guys. There we go. Is it good?
Hello, there we go. Sorry about that. My name is Danny Povischuk. I moved here approximately 22 years ago, and things have changed a great deal, and some of it good, some of it bad. Start off, I guess, I'd like to thank the current mayor and the councilors for the time and effort they put in through these difficult times. It's kind of cool. It has been 22 years of move to Hanna. I can remember it like yesterday. There's been a lot of changes, good and bad. Hanna's a very different place than it was 22 years ago. Hanna was a busy, bustling place holding its own. But now with the mine on its way out, the power plant cutting positions, and the oil and gas industry in a downturn, it's going to be a challenge. I sat on council in El Point a long time ago, about probably just about 30 years ago. When I ran, I was the young guy thinking we'll just make changes and everything will be better and it's easy, right? I've quickly realized that it's more of a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's nothing happens quickly. It's a process. So I ask that you be patient with myself and our future councilors, and let us work through things and come to us with any problems or concerns you have, and we'll see what we can do for you. As the mayor, I think there's a lot of different things we can do to make Hanna more appealing. We can offer to people, we have a lot to offer the people that live here and a lot of people that are moving in. When I moved to Hanna 22 years ago, as I said, I was kind of warned by some of the locals that the education system was terrible, the healthcare system needed to be overhauled, and the politics in town were crazy. After a very short period of time, I realized that Hanna's just a small town. It's the same place as I came from, Elk Point. So again, if you think it's bad somewhere, try somewhere else, and you'll quickly realize that it's not so bad where you're going or where you've been. Having lived somewhere that I called home for 36 years, moving to Hanna isn't exactly what I had in mind when I got transferred down here. I won't lie to you. I didn't like Hanna. 22 years later, I can't think of anywhere else I'd want to live or be. We were fortunate. We raised 2 boys in town. We put them through the school system, put them through hockey, and they turned out okay, if I'm just saying so myself. They both live in town. My youngest son's got a young family here, and he moved back from Edmonton, realizing that the big city maybe wasn't the place to be or the place to grow up, raise a family. So again, I have a very vested interest in Hanna. We opened up a business about 9 years ago in town, and we weren't really sure if it was the right thing to do or not. We opened up an oil field supply store, making the total 9, making the total 4 in town. Since that time, the other 3 stores have since closed, moved on, and we've realized some of the challenges that are presented to us, and we've made some changes to the way we do business. We switched our focus not only to the oil patch, but we've gone into the agriculture industry, which is a very strong component here in town. We recently bought a small business that had been around for a long time. We bought Taslin Supplies from Doug's Electric, trying to, again, to diversify. We are the Purelator, FedEx, Highway 9 depot. So trying to get some traffic and keep people coming into town. So we're doing the best we can there, realizing that you have to change and you have to be willing to change with the punches. As the mayor, I look forward to the opportunity that this position will bring. I understand there's a few people retiring from the town staff. I look forward to look at this as an opportunity, not as a challenge. I would like to thank the retiring staff for their time and dedication. I've met most of them, and they have a lot of added value. I would also like to thank. I'd also like to thank the people from the community who have come and thrown their 2 bits into the ring and saying thanks for running and stuff. I'm optimistically nervous, I guess is the best way of putting it. In closing, I wrote a one-liner. I believe we can do more with less in these tough times, and looking forward to meeting each and every one of you. Stop by the shop, and we'll see you. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Danny. It was really good timing. We didn't have to cut you off. All right. So I am now going to introduce the candidates in alphabetical order, and they will have 3 minutes to introduce themselves and say a few words. So we will start with Sandra Bowden.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Fellow candidates, ladies and gentlemen, I was asked to run for council in 2017 and again this term. I had challenges, made mistakes, and had successes. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I earned my Bachelor of Science degree in agriculture from the U of A, worked 6 years as an agrologist and supervisor with Alberta Agriculture in Edmonton, and worked over 15 years with AFSC in crop insurance and ag lending in Hanna. Moved to Hanna 29 years ago when I married my husband, a welding fabricating business owner. We share a passion for family, friends, and community, and are actively volunteering. Both of us are very proud of our 2 children who work in and around Hanna and pay Hanna taxes. My volunteerism led me to create a history project to support our community. As founder, president of the Hanna Roundhouse Society, I've spent over 11 years promoting Hanna through the preservation and restoration of the 1913 Canadian Northern Railway Roundhouse and its history, with support from family, friends, and other dedicated volunteers. Today, the Hanna Roundhouse Society is seeing the benefit from this work with interest from photographers, railway buffs, and others. Outside my councillor responsibilities, I help others with permission. Instead of filing a bylaw complaint, I promoted Hanna's Adopt a Tree program with the help of 3 generous contributors. We provided our own funds to purchase the 9 trees planted along Palliser Trail. If re-elected, I will work to find ways to attract business to Hanna and increase use of Hanna's assets, maintain or increase hospital services, increase tourism to support Hanna's economy, and increase town revenue. There has to be a better way than increasing taxes. There will be challenges. New councillors and mayor will require training and brought up to speed on existing projects. Funding new expenses passed to municipalities from the province, such as policing costs. Increasing tourism will be difficult in the current environment. I brought residents' concerns to council. I was engaged in council meetings. I asked questions. I was involved, and I shall do the same if re-elected. I have no personal agenda except to represent you to the best of my ability. With communication, we all can work together for the benefit of our community. Look for the positives Hanna has and help our community grow. Together, we can make Hanna's future successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. The next candidate is Brass Gerald Campion.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Gerald Campion, but better known around the community as Brass. I have lived in Hanna pretty well my entire life. My wife and I have raised our two children, Jennifer and Cody, while I was doing my railroad career as a locomotive engineer with CN Rail. Our children have left the nest now, so there's just us two old birds left here to take care of the home and everything. Hanna has always been home to me, and I will love this community and its style of life. This is my fourth run at council and my last chance to be your counselor, to be your voice in council. Over the last 11 years, I have only missed
You're
one
freezing up,
council
Rob?
meeting.
Go
Pardon
ahead.
me?
You froze up a little bit there.
I say over the last 11 years, I have only missed one council meeting while keeping the taxpayers' interest at the top of my priority list. I feel that this next 4 years will be a very turning point for our town, with many retirements of administration happening, implementing some of our strategic plan, and some major infrastructure challenges facing us. I look forward to sitting on this town council under Mayor Dan Pavlicek, a friend of mine I have had known since he moved his family here. I feel that with my years of experience on the council, I can be a good asset to a new mayor and at least 3 new councilors. In my previous council years, I've enjoyed the budget process, representing Hanna on many commissions that I have been assigned to, and the challenge of keeping the taxes as low as possible while maintaining our many infrastructure needs. I feel that in the next few years, we should be working on improving our streets and alleys, as opposed to spending a lot of money, of taxpayer money, on implementing the strategic plan that was brought up in the last couple of years by the previous council. With the loss of the coal mine and the reduction in power plant shift and the oil and gas reduction things, the population in our community has been shrinking, which reduces our tax base and puts more pressure on our local businesses. So this upcoming council has some real challenges to face, which I hope to be a part of. Over my council years, many people have called me with a large variety of challenges that I have helped them through as soon as possible to get a solution to their issues. This will continue in the future if I am re-elected. Many a times in the past, I have.
Thank you, Brass. That was wonderful.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. So next up is Fred Kroll.
There we go. Fred, you need to unmute. Are you unmuted? There he is.
This is alive. Alive?
There is.
Or your own?
Hello.
Go ahead, Fred, your time started.
Okay. I'm sure everybody knows who I am. I'm Fred Kroll. I've lived here all my life. I've been very supportive and a concerned citizen of Hanna for the last 64 years. My name, the Kroll family name, I mean, has been part of Hanna's history right from the word go, right from the start. My dad had a blacksmith shop back in the early 1600s and in the early hundreds, I mean. So we've always had a business of some sort, whether it was through a family member or a very close relative, like whether it was through marriage or however, we've always had a business in the town of Hanna. That is a big concern. I mean, the way things are going right now, like as the other previous councillors have mentioned, the oil field has fallen off drastically. Sheerness power plant and the coal mine is big destruction, you know, in numbers as far as work is concerned. I have had my own businesses and I've had many opportunities to leave Hanna. I have never had that ever enter my mind that you know, there's a better place. I grew up in Hanna. I'm the youngest of 16 siblings, so we've seen a lot of Hanna, a lot of history, and a lot of ups and a lot of downs. I am, like I say, I am a concerned citizen. I am here for this town. I am here for the citizens of this town, and I am more than willing to do as much as I possibly can to make it a whole lot more positive place to live. We don't have to be concerned, or I shouldn't say we don't have to be concerned, but I mean, like, we have got a lot of things that we can benefit from. We still have agriculture is a big part of our industrial, you know, our industry, and we can make this town a great place to live. And as I say, we can. It's going to take a lot of us to do it, and we're going to have to do it together.
8 seconds.
Okay. You know, like I say, we can make this the place that it always was and can be again. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred.
Thanks.
Thank you, Fred. Next up is Sean Goodzuk.
Go ahead, Sean, if you're ready.
Hi there, everybody. Good evening. My name's Sean Gajuk. I moved to Hanna in 1995. Been here ever since. Chose to live here, put down some roots, start a business, SWG contracting, and raise a family. Currently, my wife works in town. My son goes to school here. We have no plan on moving. The direction the town's been going, I feel like I'd like to get a seat on council, perhaps change a few things, perhaps hold a few people accountable. I don't really have an agenda or a platform, so to speak. I just want to help Hanna grow, maintain, strive. There's a bunch of different ways we can go about doing this, but it'll take the whole community together. Through the years, I've seen a lot of businesses come and go. Agriculture has been the only mainstay, really. I'd like to see a bunch of projects around town completed, some new ones start, and go from there. That's all I have.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean. Next up is Robert Goulet.
Here we go. Mute. Oh, are you there?
Yeah,
There we go.
can you hear me?
Yeah, can you see the lights there too, Rob? Are you able to see those?
Yeah, I can see the eggs, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Robert Goulet. I moved to Hanna in 2004. Brought a E&I company, oil patch related, back in those days, and it's lots has changed for me as a business owner, dealing with the ups and downs of our economy. I'm still here, 16, 17 years later. I ran for council 11 or 12 years ago and missed it by a thread. And I've been home more due to the economy. And I'd like to have an opportunity to represent Hanna and the constituents in the community. I've raised 2 children here. My wife works at Alberta Health Services, and yeah. So as counselor, I'd like to do my best to practice fiscal responsibility and trying to build a stronger economy for our community. We are going through a rough patch with our economy and COVID, and we all aware of that and the challenges it's brought up. So I would like to just try to diversify things and just try to create a stronger community within a community. I'd like to look at ways of generating with the economy. I'd like to try to generate revenue within the community instead of always relying on taxpayers to flip the bill. It's one of the things I'd like to try to organize and see to fruition. Some issues expressed to me directly from people in the community is, as we have an aging community and demographic, the challenges of getting around town and getting to places are a real concern. So they've expressed situations where they're quite alarmed with the loss of the ambulance service and not having a taxi in town. So I'd like to see if there's something that we can do to facilitate that requirement. And I'd like to see about trying to energize our community through healthier lifestyle and revitalizing a lot of the infrastructure we have in the community already, parks, trails. We've got a beautiful community and just like to see it utilized a lot better and get active. Thanks for your time and take care.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Brad Hogan. I hope I pronounced it right.
Yes, that was fine. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, my name is Brad Haugen. Winnie and I, we moved here 3 years ago, June 1st of 2018. And because we were looking for a small retirement community to move to, and Hanna fit the bill perfectly. We quickly got lots of friends here in town and got used to the town. And I know Sandra, Danny, and Angie, and Fred, and I know most of you. And as you probably see me a lot on Facebook, I'm a very analytical person, and when I moved to Syncrude in 2000, they quickly found that out and put me to work as a problem solver. And that's my main reason for putting my name up for council here. As you know, like I have been involved in politics, and one of the councillor members said, put your name in because, you could probably help us out. And so I did that. I'm a little bit nervous about the work being the new guy on the block, but I look forward to working with each and every one of you. I'm just hoping that I can do a good job for everybody. Like I said, I'm a problem solver. I'm very analytical. I have a very wide variety background of talents. Let me see, what else can I tell you about me? I'm a mechanic by trade. My last job at Syncrude was managing 167 dozers with a budget of $59 million. So when it comes to planning and budgeting, I should be able to handle that. I have put a few ideas to the town about fixing roads and about the water supply system. I have some ideas on there how to make things a little bit cheaper and a little bit easier, hopefully. But, it's not always as it seems. Sometimes you get into a job and a situation and you realize that the way they're doing it is the best way. But I hope to put my 2 cents in there and help out wherever I can. I look forward to helping out on the communities or the committees that are given to me to help out with, and I'll do my best. And I just want to help out with Hanna to get involved in this municipal elections and or the council and become a councillor member if you so decide. And I will do my best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. Next up is Sandra Murphy.
Hello. Are we on? Can you hear me? Yep. Okay. Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. First, I'd like to tell you a bit about myself. My name is Sandra Murphy. I'm the owner-operator of Tumbleweeds Print and Sign Shop here in Hanna, and I've resided here for 10 years. Prior to settling here, I've been everywhere. Born in Beaconsfield, Quebec. Don't tell anyone. My family moved to Calgary in 1979 when I was 13. I've also lived in Manitoba for 5 or 6 years and Ontario. I understood from the minute I stepped foot in Alberta, Alberta's different. It has back alleys, war wonton soup, pickup trucks everywhere, and blue sky as far as the eye can see. Hanna embodies everything that Alberta is, and I knew this is where I would spend the rest of my life. Since moving here, my mom has moved here and is now living in the lodge. My daughter lives here, so I have grandchildren in town. My son and his fiance live here and own another business, and it's just a wonderful place. I've had the privilege working at Tumbleweeds to closely work with the school board, the municipal governments, local businesses, churches, charities, and local residents over the past decade. And 2 things stand out the most for me. This town is talented, musical, artistic, athletic, creative, amazing talent. If anyone hasn't been to any of the shows in town, they're incredible. The town is indelible with community spirit. We grieve together when a neighbor loses a loved one. We celebrate together when a neighbor gets a new puppy or a business owner becomes a grandma for the first time. And we come together to show when another neighbor town suffers, like Fort McMurray or Humboldt when they had the crash. This isn't every town. I've lived in many places, and this is really unique to Alberta and really unique to East Central Alberta, just an incredible place. Prior to moving to Hanna, I spent 25 years in administrative roles with the universities of Winnipeg, Calgary, as well as a federal public servant with the Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm compelled to continue to serve the public in some capacity. I consider it an honor to serve. I've never walked in your shoes, but I have been a pregnant teenager, runaway at 1982, left in a hallway of the hospital because I wasn't worthy of a room. I've been a single parent with 3 kids working 2 jobs to make ends meet, hoping my Ralph bucks would come in before my rent check clears. I am a caregiver of an elderly parent. I am the loving parent of a member of the LGBTQ+ community. And I know how it feels to not be heard, but I hear you. So I'm hoping that I can make a difference in this town if you choose me on town council.
Thanks, Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra. All right. Next up is Kyle Olson.
All right, thank you. So I guess we'll start. My name is Kyle Olson. I've been honored to serve on council the past 4 years, hoping to get again. I'm born and raised Hanna resident. I'm a little bit shy of Fred, 64 years. I married another local. We went to college. When it came down to choosing where we wanted to end up, we knew it was Hanna. Here we are 3 kids later, and we've loved everything about our town. The past 4 years have certainly seen some damage to our town from provincial policies in several aspects. Throughout all this, Hanna and residents, there's still been new businesses opened. We've seen record-setting house sales in the last year or two, while still keeping our small town happy atmosphere alive. Personally, I see Hanna getting just a wee bit of momentum over the last year, even with the mess that much of our province, our country, our world has become. So on that note, it's a different vibe than some. I've been accused of being optimistic to a fault. I always recognize struggles, but I always like to make sure that people are aware of the good things as everything goes along too. So we always see the larger cities attempt to build neighborhoods like Hanna as subdivisions, different communities on their outskirts to replicate exactly what we have. With conveniences now allowing remote work, we've got better internet than 80% of downtown Calgary. People can suddenly move to an established community like Hanna at a fraction of the price. As a member of council, our job's got to be continuing this trend of movement and encouraging more people to see what Hanna has to offer. We start by ensuring the cost of living is maintained into the future. As we all know, taxes. When we compare the first budget I helped pass in 2017 and the budget for 2021, I'd like to point out that we're generating less revenue from taxes this year than we did in 2018, which means as a whole, we're paying less tax. We all know costs for everything have gone up, so I'm pleased to hold the line on that now and into the future as best we can. In that time, we're still able to complete large infrastructure projects, like $1.5 million to $2 million road infrastructure projects, some significant derelict buildings demolished, still in the works. We've aided community groups to help them through these tough government restricted times. If I get the honor of being reelected, I'll continue to run my mouth about how great Hanna is and promote every facility, every activity we have, while doing my part to ensure municipal spending is kept in check. So another movement I'd like to push through is to inoculate so much negativity. It comes and goes with what the hot topic is around town. As a community, I just encourage people to speak up and make sure the real facts are out there. If you hear something you don't like or a decision that was made, speak up and ask questions why these things are happening. There's always a reason. Okay, I see they're flashing at me. So just to point out, you'll see some of my signs popping up. They do have some orange on them. I just want to be clear, there's no sign of NDP support. I just have to be an Oilers fan, so don't hold that against me either. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next candidate is Angie Warwick.
Just takes a second because it always goes this way. Hang on. That? Oh, you have to unmute. Do you have the message to unmute, Angie?
Oh, yes. Sorry. That. Do you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, moderator, fellow candidates, and the residents of Hanna. I would like to thank the Business Hub, Reality Bites, and the Hanna District Chamber of Commerce for organizing this forum in these challenging times. My name is Angie Warwick, for all of those who may not know me. I have resided in Hanna for the past 31 years with my husband, Chris, for 25 of those, and our children, Nathaniel, Abigail, and Will. A career opportunity brought me here in 1990, and I have never regretted a day living here in Hanna since then. Hanna is a place where my heart lives, and my expressions of affection for our community has had great impact on my children, whose desires are also to move back here to Hanna when their post-secondary education is complete. I have never experienced a community that pulls together for the betterment of all like I've seen here in Hanna. We live here because of the lifestyle. Like many of you, I have concerns for what will happen into the future of our rural community. My advocacy will be in keeping Hanna viable and a safe place to live that maintains an affordable cost of living, along with maintaining the safety of our streets, back alleys and sidewalks, our underground infrastructure, exercising our fiduciary and fiscal duty and taking care of all levels of business throughout the town of Hanna, as well as beautification and attraction to our community also needs to be at the forefront. The following are some of the issues that are of utmost importance: attracting businesses and people by supporting our business hub, who are at the forefront of this initiative; goals versus demands in order to keep our tax base attainable and attractive; continually assessing and advocating for our most essential natural resource, which is water; long-term feasibility on expansion and a retraction of industry and business opportunities, our regional partnerships, and supporting local, as well as infrastructure and operating expenses. I think your council needs to take a look at the costs incurred with equipment and town-owned facilities. I believe strongly in municipal governance and the close connection it enables between you, the people, and those that represent your voice and concerns at the table. I have a deep understanding of governance. Good governance is also about understanding municipally, provincially, and federally the impacts that best support decision-making, as well as understanding fiscal impacts and taking care of all levels of business throughout the town of Hanna. Our previous slogan is one that has stuck with me and many others: Hanna's worth the drive as we live the lifestyle. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. That concludes the introductions for the candidates. Thank you very much. We will now move to the questions. So there's a chance to submit live questions, as I said, by clicking the link on YouTube, but we had several questions submitted. What we did is we used our random cards and we selected numbers, and we're going to just start with a question that's been asked. You will get 1.5 minutes to answer. And of course, you can use your wild card, as the candidates know all about that. All right, the first question. I would like to give this question to number 5, just a moment. It's Brass Campion. And what is your vision for economic development in Hanna?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, my vision for economic development is whatever it takes this council to do to promote more businesses moving here, like in reductions in land that we sell to them to promote the business moving here. Whatever it takes to get somebody moving. This town it's got a lot to offer. Its lifestyle is unique, and I would do anything, suggest anything to council to try and get businesses coming here, because without businesses, we don't got much reason to be in operation. So whatever it takes, I will be willing to bend over backwards to get it going. Thank you.
We would ask the same question to Kyle Olson. What is your vision for economic development in Hanna?
All right, thank you. The easy slam dunk is anything that doesn't require major infrastructure and cost to get going. As I've said, we worked hard to get fiber internet to the door here. Neighboring communities are now coming along. So when we win the race by a couple of years, that's a great sign. People can locate here and perform everything they could in Calgary for any remote work, except superior at cheaper cost to live, cheaper cost for the service of internet. Once you get a few things like that, we'll never get another power plant of 100 people, unfortunately. I just can't see it in the near future. But to get small places like GFL on the highway, to get 10, 12 people there, people realizing that Highway 9 trucks come by every single day. You can get whatever product you want here, raw materials. Things will come and go through here so easily. And to put a shop up here, cost effective compared to Calgary, is just, it's such an easy decision. If anybody comes out here, if anybody's looking at relocating, so many of these business owners have kids. I've always said, if you can have somebody out here with a family for a week, they will fall in love with Hanna. Tour the school, tour the businesses, what we have here. Anybody raising a family will absolutely jump on a chance to locate out here. Well, good timing. Thanks.
Thank you. The next question is for Sandra Bowden. How can we encourage new businesses to establish in Hanna?
Oh, I'm sorry, you can hear me, right? I think a part of it is approaching some businesses and asking them to come in and come into our community. In 2018, I approached Biosol and asked them if they were interested in coming and checking out the Humalite situation at Westmoreland Coal. From that, invited them into our community, introduced them to our CAO, and he had also brought his manager with him. And from that time on, then that is where GFL came from, is that GFL bought Biosol, and which is a fertilizer company that is working hard to control the smell. But bringing in the smaller companies will bring in employment. The existing GFL now has 3 existing employees, local gravel suppliers, and are working hard to create support our community as well. So I think just a direct approach and ask them to come to our community and check it out.
Thank you. So same question, Sandra Murphy. How can we encourage new businesses to establish in Hanna?
Well, that's what I did. I established a new business in Hanna. Number one, Danny mentioned it and Rob Goulet mentioned it, diversification. How do you get them to come in? We have so many things that are good. The fiber optic is incredible. Again, the cost of living is very low, but it's how to find a way to approach the businesses like Sandra Bowden did and have them just come out just for the week and take a look. But other events can trigger this, like the rodeo and hockey tournaments we have. Of course, everything's on hold right now, but people come in to the community unaware of what's available to them. And they go, wow, this is amazing. And people have moved here on that basis alone. Oh yeah, that's why I came here. I was actually on my way to Provost and stopped in town. Oh, this is so cute. It's not that far. And you're stuck with me. So that's what happens. But it's just a matter of getting the word out that we're open for business. I totally agree with Brass. You have to make sure you give them incentives, whether it's tax incentives, land, helping with anything you can to get them here. Because once they're here, they won't leave.
Thank you. That's right. The next question is for Fred Kroll. What are the top 3 priorities you will bring to council and work towards if elected?
3 main objectives of council should be to maybe control spending as number 1. Like if we can get it as a community whole on what we're spending and what we're trying to do as far as like for infrastructure or any other budgeting that has to be done. The community has to have some word in this. They can't be just a vote amongst 6 people saying, this is what we want. It has to be a community as a whole. Other than that, I think that's about, that's one of my main objectives. Secondly, we do have to have some new businesses, and we have to invite them in and help set them up and make sure that they are going to be going, as far as the town it goes. We have all kinds of benefits here. Education is a super thing for our town. Crime rate, it's on the grow. But if we get some policing in there, we can control that a bit too. I think, that's about.
Thank you, Fred. Your time's up.
Okay, thank you.
Same question to Brad Haugen. What are the top 3 priorities that you will bring to council and work towards if elected?
Well, hello there, everyone, and thank you, Connie. The top 3 items that I would like to work on is completing upgrades required to our water lines, our roads, and of course, our hospital quality. We've all seen the water lines break many times and sometimes in the same place. I did approach a council on a new idea that we used to use in the oil field. That's for sending a sonic pig up the pipelines, the water lines. And what it does is it sonically measures the pipelines, the wall thickness all the way around town. You'll get a map of, oh, this place is worse than that one because, and so anyway, that's one technology. Another one is on the roads, we'll have to look into seeing, like on 12th Avenue, I recommended just taking the tops off and not spending a lot of money on it because I realized we lost the grants. And let's wait until we can do it right the first time, and then we won't have to do it again. And we all know that we went from 16 beds down to 10 beds here. We need to look into the quality of our hospital, and we need to get staff in here because once they come to Hanna, they will want to stay here. We did. Thank you, Hanna.
Ready?
Okay, who's your next one? Sorry.
The next one is for Sean Goodzook. Can the candidates provide an example of where their vision or goals as a councillor may conflict with other members of the council, and how you will work to compromise and continue to move actions forward?
Yeah, basically, thanks for the question. I really don't see myself bumping heads with the candidates too much, as I see everybody wanting progress made in Hanna. Perhaps I feel like things can be done at a way easier cost and way more efficiently around town. I figure there's a lot of spending that is unnecessary. I'll work with all these guys and women to achieve a common goal to make Hanna better. Thank you.
Go ahead, say it.
Thanks, Sean. This will be Robert Goulet, same question. Can you provide an example of where your vision or goal as a councillor may conflict with other members of the council, and how you will work to compromise and continue to move your actions forward?
Well, like I see the city council being the same as a marriage. It's all about compromise, so it's, I think I'm here to work with everybody and not be against anybody. The greater goal is to further and strengthen our community and make it the best possible place to live. So I implore the in question, but I don't see a problem with me not being able to communicate in the future to other council members, even though we might have a situation where you might lock horns, but at the end of the day, it's about having a conversation and working through it.
Go ahead.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, the next question is for Angie Warwick. What ideas or plans do you have for encouraging people to move to our community?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think a lot of it surrounds around advocacy and how we do that. That also surrounds around the dollars, our municipal budget. And I think we have to go beyond the jurisdiction of Hanna to promote it. I think you have to put wording out there. We have phrasing that I know I've used lots of times in my travels around, and it's been catchphrasing that's worked really well and has people looking towards, their eyes towards Hanna. So I think the thing is to get out there beyond our boundaries and really do some promoting, have some ads, unite the highway, promoting why Hanna would be, a lifestyle to live. You would be worth the drive. So I think advocacy has to be a big part of that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Angie. Same question for Brad Haugen. What ideas and plans do you have for encouraging people to move to our community?
Well, one of the problems that not only our community, but many of our small town communities lost was when we lost the Greyhound, the transportation to and from small towns. I know that if we could look into how we can increase the ease of transportation between our communities, it would bring more people into our communities. Another way to encourage people is say, well, I mentioned before that we had lost 6 hospital beds. If we can improve if we can investigate on what we can do to improve our hospital, increase our doctors and nurses, then factories or big businesses wouldn't have a problem moving here, because that the medical system is inviting it's close by for them. And that is pretty important. Other things is like Angie mentioned, and that we already did, is the beautification of town and stuff like that. And the way Sandra said, we just got to go talk to them, because once they're here, they will like it.
All right. There you go. So Angie, we recognize your wild card. You may go ahead.
Yeah, one other thing I might just add to this conversation is I've thought about this for a long time now. We have a direct link to visitors coming close to our community but not encountering community, and that is Prairie Oasis. I've thought for some amount of time now we could have a connection. We talk about busing and those kind of systems, that we could have some kind of busing from there, experience Hanna for the day, and bring those people that are visiting out there for the day for some of our excitement that happens in Hanna. So I just wanted to add that as well, that might be another way of promoting Hanna with people that are already coming within close jurisdiction, and just bring them a little bit closer into the town of Hanna and just experiencing some of the things that the locals experience. Thank you.
Thank you. We're good. The next question is for Sandra Bowden. And Sandra, this one was directed to you specifically, so no one else will answer this question. Do you think that any member of council, as a public figure representing the town of Hanna, should be posting misinformation, personal political views, or racist comments on their Facebook page or other public media? If this occurs, exactly how do you think it should be addressed?
Oh, thank you for the question. Can you hear me? I don't think it should be allowed, and I might be part of that group that may have been posting some personal information and that sort of thing. And I think in that situation, an apology may be worthwhile, and to be removed from that particular comment. I've tried to stay away from the one site that deals with other comments and negativity comments and that sort of thing. I do try to promote some of the positive stuff around community as well, and I hope that overrides anything that I may have shared in error, or sharing some opinions that maybe are not should not be shared. And so I think that is something that we all need to be aware of, is to be careful when we're sharing information, is that as a counselor, you are representing the town, and try to avoid any misinformation. And yeah, that is my answer to that question.
Okay. Thank you, Sandra. Angie, if you just want to take your wildcard hand back down, that would be great. The next question is directed directly to Kyle Olson. So Kyle, this is for you. There was a great deal of time and funds spent on the revitalization of our downtown, with the possibility of a center meridian and the implementation of parallel parking, as opposed to the current diagonal parking. What is the current status of the downtown revitalization, and how can business owners currently situated on Main Street, and therefore directly impacted by the decisions of council, ensure that parallel parking will not be imposed? How will the voices of those business owners who pay taxes for their Main Street location be considered during the decision-making process?
I will start and be very, very clear. There has never been real consideration for parallel parking on those blocks downtown. When the feds gave money, so there is, I believe, zero money for that right now of municipal funds. It was a federal grant for a revitalization, and you cannot use this capital and this money on capital part of it. It's solely for the research end. So a group was hired, and they find every possibility on what it might look like. And that garnered a ton of attention to get parallel parking out there. They did their job. They did absolutely every possibility. When that was presented in council chambers, we had the same reaction as the public. That was not something we were interested in. Angle parking seems like a challenge some days when I look out my window at work, so I couldn't imagine parallel parking. We certainly can't sacrifice that amount of parking downtown. We need that real estate. And what I would do is encourage businesses there to talk to the group that has gone door to door to those businesses, as well reach out to council and say, of course, we don't like that. There will be a lot of public opportunity to get engagement on here. There's going to be no shortage of input from everybody. We'll have lots of chances. You can look the medians, the scooter paths, everything was presented. It's not all being considered. Absolutely not.
All right. Thank you, Kyle. The next question is for Sean Goodzook. If elected to council, what role will you take to support the citizens of Hanna during the COVID-19 pandemic?
All right. If I'm elected to town council, I will do, I guess, whatever the provincial government tells us to do. Thank you.
That's a good answer. Perfect. I don't know if I like the question. Brass, would you please answer the same question? If elected to council, what role will you take to support the citizens of Hanna during the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, I've been, I would be like Sean. I will have to live up to the thing of what the big boys up in the provincial government say, but by the same token, I'm also going to go out trying to promote vaccinations for people that I believe should be having them. I don't believe that by not getting vaccinated is the way out of this pandemic. I believe that the vaccination, I know that it affects a lot of people in different ways. I went through it. I had some pains and agonies after my first shot and everything, but I've gone through COVID, so I can, and I didn't have much of a reaction to COVID. It showed very little signs of me. I hardly even knew I had it. However, my wife reminded me every day about how painful and that was every time she coughed or sneezed, and other than that, but I'll do whatever it takes to try and get us over the hump of this COVID thing, and hopefully we can get over it and never see it again. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Kyle's got his hand up for a wild card.
Okay, Kyle, go ahead.
Thank you. Just wanted to jump in. We've had many discussions about this, and yes, you have to play nice with the province. But what I don't agree with is the people taking pride in more restrictions. You do the basis of what we're allowed. We live in a community where everybody can be outside and is so strongly encouraged to be outside. We can do so many of these activities. We've had many disagreements in council chambers of just exactly that. You do have to play by the rules. They fund a lot of it for us. They can punish us entirely, but we just can't pride ourselves on being more restrictive than what the experts are telling us we should do. So yes, of course, I'm not looking to break the rules and get in problems with municipal affairs and have everything shut down for us even more so. But we can't pride ourselves on being more restrictive is the key in my mind. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, Brad, you may go ahead.
Just give me a second.
I kind of agree with Kyle there in a way, but I have not been vaccinated and I won't be vaccinated. Part of it is a medical situation and other of it is choice. I believe everybody should be able to make their own choice. I believe the businesses in town, they can post a sign up on the door, but if they don't want to, if they want to let you in without a mask, that's totally up to them. I still believe the virus is real, and at least it's social distance, or at least respect that it is real. Other than that, I believe it's everybody's choice.
Thank you. The next question is for Rob Goulet. Are all of the candidates aware of the attendance requirements for council meetings and information sessions? If elected, do you commit to ensuring your attendance and participation at these meetings, as well as committing to permanent residence in Hanna over the next 4 years?
Great question. Great question. I thought about running, a couple of years ago, and due to my circumstance of working, all over our beautiful country, it's restricted my ability to do things that I've wanted to do within this community. So being that I've been home and I have the opportunity now to be a part and run for council, I'll do my best. Like my business is a 24-hour a day operation. You know what I mean? I'm on call, and so you know what I mean. There might be some times that I may not be able to make it, but I hope that I can work through it. And it could be a challenge, but I don't see it being a challenge. So I'll deal with it as the problems arise. But yeah, thanks for the question.
Thank you, Rob. The next question is for Fred Kroll. It's the same question. Are you aware of the attendance requirement for council meetings and information sessions? If elected, do you commit to ensuring your attendance at these meetings, as well as committing to your permanent residence in Hanna over the next 4 years?
As most people know, I'm semi-retired. I'm on a disability and program right now. I have all the time in the world to commit to council. Like I say, I've lived here for 64 years, and I am more than willing to dedicate as much time as necessary and support and guide any let me see here now, any of the committees that I'm on or whatever, I would or I'm appointed to, I would like I say, I am more than willing to, and I can't see myself missing any appointments. Like I say, I've got all the time in the world right now. I can do as I like. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fred. The next question is for Sandra Murphy. Following the election, each of the councillors will be assigned roles on various boards throughout Hanna. If given a preference, what board would you sit on and why?
Ooh, good question. I'm so glad I got that. The medical board, bar none, number one, I must be on it. I have to, please, please, please. I have a lot of opinions based on fact because I worked with Veterans Affairs and I was involved in the committee that actually built the first operational stress injury clinics across Canada for the military members coming back. So that's for people suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder caused by trauma. And it's disgusting. The mental health treatment currently in Hanna is non-existent. It's terrible and it needs to be fixed. And I'd love to be on that. Besides that, absolutely all the boards are important and necessary. The food bank, absolutely. Oh, you need me on the food bank for sure. That's about it.
This question is for Angie Warwick. What do you propose to keep those of us with young families here? Not everyone falls in love with Hanna, but are here because of
Oh, hang
circumstances.
on. Sorry, I missed it. Fred had a.
Oh, I'm
On the
sorry, we
last
can
one.
retract. So Fred had a wild card. So Fred, if you would like to speak to what board and why.
Hang on, wrong person, sorry. They're popping around on me. Okay, there he is. There we go. There's Fred. You there, Fred? Oh. Yeah,
Just one moment, you're on mute.
you need to unmute, Fred.
Well,
There you go.
I agree with Sandra on health board. I would more than willing like to sit on that one. I worked at the hospital numerous years ago. I was employee in the maintenance department. I seen it go from 215 employees down to probably 65 where it's at now. We had a 30-bed hospital. It's down to, I think Brad said 10. Now that's quite a drastic drop. We had operations, we had mammograms, we had ultrasound. We had 48 babies a year in Hanna. We have nothing now. You know, it definitely needs some attention. That's for sure. Thank you.
No, you can do it. Thank you.
So I will continue with the question for Angie Warwick. What do you propose to keep those of us with young families here? Not everyone falls in love with Hanna, but are here because of circumstances.
Good question. Thank you. Well, job opportunity be the first. I would say that we have one of the best school districts in the province of Alberta would be an attraction. We have recreation facilities and sports facilities, sports teams of all sorts to play on. Also, I mean, communicating with these young families would be another aspect of just, you know, finding out what attracts them to here. What do they look for? Sorry, I kind of lost thought of the question, but I think there's lots of opportunity in around Hanna for young families. I guess the job attraction opportunities for business would primarily be a reason to bring families here. But then once our families are here, there's lots of opportunity, including golf and recreation of all sorts. Thank you.
Now you go ahead.
Thank you, Angie. Okay, the next question is directed to Sandra Bowden.
Danny has his hand up.
Oh.
But Danny can't answer.
Sandra, if elected, how much authority do you feel you have over town property or employees?
Thank you. I, as a counselor, we have no the only person that we're accountable to, or that we are allowed to speak to directly, is the CAO. The CAO then is responsible for all the employees, and we are not to be approaching the employees. I had approached some employees in the sense of delivering donuts for thanking them for the work that they were doing and that sort of thing. But as far as telling them what they should be doing, that's not our role. That's the role of the CAO and their directors. And we have no role in managing the day-to-day operations. I also had an input, if I could, regarding Angie's question, or the question that she got as far as small, or what to do with bringing families into our community. We have an incredible day home program that is very supportive for a lot of the families with small children.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the next question is for Brass. This is verbatim. Sean Goodzook made a statement to the Hanna Herald. He said he felt that COVID and past decisions by council will be the main topics of discussion. He said that he felt that more accountability should be an issue, which may be lost in the shuffle with other issues in the election. However, he felt that moving forward, council should lose any personal agendas and focus on making Hanna a desirable place to raise a family. How well do you think town council handled the pandemic? And what do you see as a main concern for the town of Hanna in the future?
Well, that was a long one.
It was.
Yeah, okay, you're saying that there was a thing in the paper and I seen it, and whether I agree with what is printed in a paper or on Facebook is neither here nor there. I mean, there's lots of things put on Facebook I don't agree with. The same about, about COVID, about many other issues and that, but I don't do that kind of stuff. And if I read something in a paper, everybody is entitled to their own feelings. If that's the way they feel about it, fine. I am entitled to my feelings as well too. And COVID has been something that I never dreamt in my lifetime that I would see it, and I still don't really believe that all of it is here, although it is very surreal. There's no two ways about it. But I don't have an answer how to handle it. I only got a grade 10 education. The boys up in top in Edmonton, that's for them to figure out. And I believe that our strength in our hospital and things, the more educated people on subjects like this we get here in our community, gives us a better chance. It gives us somewhere to turn to for advice if we so need it. I hope that answered whatever you said. So.
Thank you, Brass. Okay, the next question is for Sandra Murphy. There have been a number of properties sold to council members at a price well below actual value. There were never signs posted at these properties to indicate they were for sale. While this is a legal practice, do you think it is an ethical one? If you were elected to council, can you promise more transparency to the local taxpayers in regards to local real estate?
I swear I'm the one who wrote that question, but I'm not, but I actually said that out loud. I was not aware whether or not it was under the table, but I thought it was surprising how many councillors seem to have dibs on properties that other people were unaware of. Whether or not that's the case, I don't know. But transparency, oh, huge. That's disgusting that anyone would even talk about it. And I am one who did. So obviously there's some problems with communicating that transparency out there. I don't believe that members of the town office or town council should have any perks I had a neighbor who would bring the backhoe after hours from the maintenance department to his house to dig his yard. Now, I'm a taxpayer. I have to pay $1,000 a day to rent one. Why are they not doing that? I have a problem with that as well. So absolutely, it's code of conduct, transparency all the time. There's no perks. The amount you get paid is minimal just to cover your expenses. This is a service to your community, in my opinion.
Thank you, Sandra. So we have a hand up, and Sean, you will be allowed to speak on that.
Please note that people were maxing out at 3 questions. You should know that. So if you've already used them, you should have mentioned. Spotlight. Oh, I'm really sorry, guys.
Hello again. This is one of the topics that really gets me going. I am around town operating my business daily, up and down streets, and I see so much time and money wasted. There's people doing nothing. There's people taking stuff home and using town equipment after work. There are jobs where people are taking their vehicles home after work where we're paying for it. Everything's coming out of the taxpayer's pocket, and I want this to change. I want people to be held accountable and more transparency, please. Thank you.
Hang on. Now you can say no.
Thank
No,
you, Sean.
she worked it out.
The next question is for Rob Goulet.
Just to let Sandra know, because of the fact that we are limited for time, we're maxing out at 3 questions. So if you've used a wild card and it's used your 3rd question, unfortunately, we are very limited for time. So we're maxing out at 3 questions. So I do apologize.
You got that? Thank you. Okay, so the question for Rob Goulet is the same one that we had for Sandra Murphy. There have been a number of properties sold to council members at a price below actual value. There were never signs posted at the properties to indicate that they were for sale. While this is legal, do you think it is an ethical practice? If you're elected to council, can you promise more transparency to the local taxpayers in regards to local real estate?
Yeah, I think transparency is paramount, like the way that those properties were dissolved and acquired by individuals on council, I think is a travesty. Yeah, I don't agree with it, but it's done, you know what I mean? And I will do my best as your elected official to make sure that things like this don't ever happen again. Shameful, really, but it's in the past, and I just like to look forward and make things better. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Okay, that concludes the questions, and we're going to turn it over to Danny just to say some final thoughts.
Well, it was very informative and interesting. As far as the attracting people to Hanna, which seems to be a common denominator for everyone, my feeling is we need to do a better job of selling ourselves. We all know what we have. We just have to share it and make people more aware of it. As far as a wrap, I guess, I'm super excited to work with this group of elected councilors that are coming in. There is a very, very diverse group, very diverse backgrounds, lots of passion, and yeah, it's going to be a good time to roll on and see what we can do. Thank you very much.
There you go.
Thank you, Danny. We will now proceed to closing remarks, and we will be doing them in reverse alphabetical order. So that means Angie Warwick, go ahead with your closing remarks.
You get 2 minutes. Just so everybody knows, 2 minutes for this closing remarks.
In closing, I believe in being well informed in research, reading, and communication, and having a knowledge of background information with feedback from you, the public, and administration, which will enable me to be a great town councillor. In my previous tenure as a school trustee, I acquired a skill in developing, operating, and capital budgets, which is time consuming and one of the most important jobs that a councillor has to do. I have always truly believed that taking on the task of an elected official with a preconceived agenda only leads to failure. With that said, entering the role as your Town of Hanna councillor with an open mind, a willingness to serve you and the citizens, as well as being the liaison between the people and the decision-making process, and expressing your voice will produce optimum results. I will make this promise to you, that I will make decisions based on your feedback and the information provided to me, along with what is best for our great community of Hanna. Again, on October 18th, vote me, Angie Warwick, for your town councillor. Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Kyle Olson. Nope, yep, Kyle Olson.
Thank you. Just in closing, over the past 4 years, I've had my eyes open to many aspects of municipality. I've had moments of frustration. I always get amazed. You fight for 30 seconds over $1.7 million in road, and you argue for 2 weeks over a stop sign in the middle of the street that gets plopped in there. No, not a stop sign, contrary to everybody driving through a crosswalk. So every decision I've made on council, it's always considered of long-term costs, how it affects the town over 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years. Got to remember to work together. We're not a silo out here, whether it's a neighbor, a community group, geographical neighbor in special areas. We work so well together with them. We need to keep relationship good there. When businesses land in Hanna or area around Hanna, Hanna benefits, whether it's a home sale or activities for kids. Just more population, even if they don't live in Hanna, they do things in Hanna. So looking back at what Hanna is, what it's become, I'd love the opportunity to help and put in the time to ensure that my 3 kids have the same small town experience, the same opportunity that I've been blessed with, and yeah, make sure Hanna's here for the long run. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. Next up is Sandra Murphy.
All right. I didn't do a formal conclusion page, so I'll just babble for a couple minutes. First, I want to thank Mayor Warwick and all the town councilors for it's been tough out there, and I really do appreciate everything they've done. And nothing that was said tonight was ever meant to criticize anyone in particular, because I think everybody's really done an incredible job considering the circumstances. We have fared very well in our town compared to many other places. We never had a refrigerator truck downtown to put bodies in. That's fantastic. So we're going to get through this. We're going to move forward, and it's going to be really exciting. Working with Danny, I love you, Danny. I can't wait to work with you. So hopefully that'll be something I'll be able to do, because all of you have incredible ideas, and I think it's going to be a great group of people. Can't we just make it 9 councilors? It'd be easier. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Sandra. Next up is Brad Haugen.
Sorry, it takes a second because it keeps jumping. There, and you should be good, Brad.
I would like to say thank you for putting this together and giving us an opportunity to talk. I think the council so far and the mayor have done a great job with what they've been handed. A lot of times we don't know what they have to go through to get things done. And I can imagine us here that are elected will understand that very shortly. I look forward to working with each and every one of you. And I will always try my best. I will argue things out until I understand it, because when I understand it, then I can tell my neighbors what it's all about. And I look forward to understanding our town better, because we definitely love Hanna and we want to make it better. I'm looking forward to helping with the upgrades in town in whatever way I can to increase the efficiency without increasing taxes. That's my main goal, is to work with the committees that I'm put on, and to accomplish efficient repairs as quickly as possible and as cheaply as possible. I'll be looking for new ideas and advanced technologies to bring this to the table. And I hope everybody in town understands that just this few bunch of people, sometimes we don't always make the right decision, but we'll do the best we can. Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Brad. Next up is Robert Goulet.
I'd like to take a moment to thank past and present elected officials for, doing the best to their ability. I know it's a tough gig, and you don't always get what you want. But that being said, I'm here for the people of Hanna. My door is always open, and I just want to do the best and provide a community where our future generations can know that their leadership is taking them for the long haul. And that's all I really want, is somewhere where our children's children can say, man, Hannah's the tits. And that's where I'm from. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Next up is Sean Gadzuk.
My final remarks would be, come talk to me out in the community if I'm elected, whether I'm volunteering at hockey, football, soccer, hockey trustee board, anything. Come talk to me and I'll help you do whatever you need. I'll voice your opinion to council. I'll try to change things myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. Next up is Fred Kroll.
Thank you. If elected, I am going to be the voice of the citizens of Hanna. I am willing to listen. I can try my best to get what the citizens of Hanna want and deserve. Like I say, it's a tough job, but I think out of the 9 of us, we're all willing to help and to progress in Hanna. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Next up is Brass Campion.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. First of all, if I'm going to sit in that council chamber with Mr. Pavlichuk Mayor, he is going to have to remove that Oiler hat, that's for sure. Many times in the past, I voted against many issues, motions that were before council, because I felt they were not in the best interest of the community in dollar wise and things like that. I was many times outvoted on these issues, and I realize, as I want all of you to know, that you're only one vote on council. But your vote is very important. And the last thing I would like to say, I'd like to see Hanna bettered and remain in better shape than it is now for the future years. I have two beautiful little granddaughters that live here. I don't ever want to see them leave town. So I know that we can work together to make it a better place. And finally, I encourage you all to get out and vote on the election day or at one of the advanced polls. And if you so feel that you think that I'm doing a good enough job, put an X beside my name, and I will be proud to continue my job taking care of your best interests. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Brass. And Sandra Bowden?
Thank you, moderator. I'm passionate about this community. I've lived in it for 29 years. Our children have been raised here. We have some amazing facilities, environmental as well. Our parks and the town staff are very good to work with. I have enjoyed working with our CAO, who has an open door policy, and on many occasions knock on the door to discuss some issues with him, and he has always had an ear to lend. So, although we have some concerns, I know there are restrictions that are placed for the town staff to follow, and we just have to abide by them. And just remember that we, not one of us can do this alone, that we all need to work together and cooperate. And that means as council, as, working with the town staff, as well as the partners that are involved. And I think that is most of what I have. Our main asset, I think, is basically our people. Our people are friendly, and that's what we've, I've heard on many occasions that people are they feel welcomed from our people. Let's continue that and sell the assets that Hanna has to offer, and welcome people with open arms, work with businesses that are looking to settle here, and let's all work together and promote us in a positive and progressive manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. This concludes the evening, and I want to once again thank everybody who made the live stream possible. It always takes a lot of technologically advanced people to put something like this together. So thank you once again. I do have a note from the town. So advance voting will take place on October 7th from 3 till 7, and October 12th from noon to 3 at the Town of Hanna Council Chambers at 302 2nd Avenue West. Election day is October 18th, and you can vote at the Hanna Community Center between the hours of 10 and 8. All this information is on the town website. If you have any questions, you can contact them. So thank you once again for the whole evening. I really appreciate it. And I think we had 170 live viewers or so. So that's fantastic. Thank you again. Bye-bye.
Technology-based solutions, Reality Bites.